Ladies and gentlemen, now in today's video, I want to talk about PvP in 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross and some of the biggest problems with it. Because I feel like for one of the core pillars of the game, and you could argue that PvP for some people, especially like blubbery boy tryhards, is probably the most important element of the game. It is beyond ridiculously neglected. They pay no attention to PvP, nothing is ever updated or improved, and the small like little adjustments that we've had, like PvP rules and also season rewards, just do like more harm than good. And the season rewards, like for the amount of effort invested, are just beyond terrible. Like nobody that played season 1 played season 2, because the rewards, like, they didn't change, man, and they were just so bad, and it was so much effort to get in top 100. But even if you like weren't in the top 100, so the top like 0.1% of players, you just like been screwed over by PvP rules most week. It just makes the experience much worse, and that's because they haven't updated the PvP rewards since they launched the game 7.5 months ago. When I reached Challenger in PvP 7.5 months ago, I did it with this team. So I had free-to-play Story King, free-to-play Story Deanne, I had Green Barn, and also Merlin on the sub. And I had less than 140,000 CC. I think if I took this into the bottom bracket now, so not Challenger, the bottom bracket, the very entry back bracket, I would be very lucky to win 5% of matches, man. I would get absolutely nowhere. I'd just be in a negative deficit of points every single week. You know, the bar for entry for Elite PvP is absolutely ridiculous. When a player hits gold, if they even look in geared PvP, they're instantly matched against people running 180,000 to 200,000 CC. It's just beyond insane, man, and it just instantly shuts off players from accessing Elite PvP for months and months and months. And every single month that entry bar gets higher and higher because there's no proper entry geared system to Elite PvP. There's no like brackets where you can't lose points, so you can initially like work your way up a little bit, and then you get to like the master bracket, and then you've got these crazy whales that you got to fight through to get to Challenger. And on top of that, again, the rewards have not changed. And I really do wish I was joking when I say the amount of requirements to enter Elite PvP now, just to enter and be viable and competitive, is probably about 10 to 20 times, if not more, than it was 7 months ago for exactly the same rewards. The first thing you need, and this is a big task, is you need to build a full UR gear set for every single character on the front lines, or at least like 3 characters or 2 characters. It's a lot of work. You need some really good SSR gear, you need lots of anvils to get very good rolls on that gear as well, and ideally lots of hammers, lots of training cave farming in order to increase some of your best rolls to almost perfect rolls on top of that. Also, you need every single character level 80. You also need really good characters at the moment to contend with the Lost Vein Alt Rush meta. You know, it's either like Lost Vein or D. Meliodas Red Escanor, or like a Zeldris Commandment team or something like very interesting and quirky. But whatever way you go, you need lots of gems to summon on all sorts of different banners and build your team, and also lots of gems to buy all of the cosmetics, and ideally as well, a good chunk of cosmetic upgrades on some of your main team characters in order to boost their stats even further. And all of that stuff coming together, man, is just absolutely mental. And then on top of that, you've got to like have 6/6 associations. You've got to sort out ideally like a half SSR, like R gear on the right hand side equipment set for all of them, just so that they can boost your stats of your main characters up even further. And ideally, you know, you want as many cosmetics as you can on those characters as well to like further increase the stats of your main team. Like the amount of stuff and the amount of time that it takes to do all this stuff is really substantial. And on my free-to-play account, you know, I've been grinding on it for about 5 months, like very casually for the most part, but like I feel like I'm constantly being pushed back when it comes to Elite PvP whenever I do want to try it, because the requirements to enter are just so ridiculously high, and I'm quite an experienced PvP player, so I can't even imagine what it feels like for somebody downloading the game. You know, they get really excited, like they're going through like silver, gold PvP, and then they finally unlock, you know, elite PvP. They go in, and it's just like instantly matched with like a 200k CC, like casual grinder, man, and then just getting smacked for months and months and months. They have no way to enter, no way to progress, no way to access those anvils that used to be so accessible for players trying to grow their roster. They really need a massive revamp of the not only the elite PvP structure, but also the reward system as well. So let's talk about the rewards currently. So you get 2,000 coins if you're champion 1, so that's enough for 100 anvils every single week. They do have the 100, buy limit on them, so you can't go any more than 100 anvils, which sounds like a lot. But if you've been rolling gear for like 2-3 months, and if you get to champion, you'll know what it's like to roll a few gear sets, man. You'll know that there's always that one roll on any character's gear set that takes about 200 to 500 anvils to get something like halfway decent. Anvils are incredibly inconsistent. Sometimes they are a massive blessing, but most of the time you have that roll that is just really annoying and just burns through hundreds and hundreds of anvils. So the amount of anvils is incredibly low. And again, for the requirement to get to champion and challenger, you already need to have had so many anvils, so many hammers, that, the reward for getting there is so incredibly underwhelming. This amount of coins needs to be available at the lower levels, man. Because I'll tell you what, people at Gold 5 they need 100 anvils at least a week. And as you're progressing up and up, you want more exciting stuff. You want the ability to spend your coins on all sorts of different stuff, and also you want a lot more coins for the amount of effort and investment that you've been required to actually get there as well. And the amount of gold in the wider spectrum of the game is quite laughable. Like via the Eastin and Evil Lilia event, on my whale account I farmed 600 million gold throughout the 2-week event, just auto farming almost non-stop. So that is the equivalent gold wise of getting challenger every single week for the next 5 years. There needs to be a really significant amount of gold, because gold is a resource that is heavily required in all sorts of areas, especially with stuff like Super Awakening coming, and also cosmetic upgrades currently as well are very, very expensive. So coins need to be increased, but also a very important thing as well is what you can buy with coins should be substantially widened as well. I want to see a lot more coins, and I also want to see stuff for sale like UR engraving stones, anvils, cosmetic upgrades as well would be a big one. I think they need to be a lot more generous with cosmetic upgrades, because I was running the numbers this morning, and they are beyond tight when it comes to that stuff. But in the future as well, they could also add Super Awakening coins. But I think one of the most important things that I'd like to see in PvP is cosmetic upgrades, because the amount you need for just a full team of 8 characters, and again, you don't always want to use just a full team of 8 characters and associations. And because of PvP rules as well, you need to diversify your team and strategy. But if you want to get to that maximum power ceiling for a full team, assuming that you have 3 UR pieces and 2 SSR pieces in every single slot, this is the cost to fully upgrade. And again, that's an average. Some characters have more UR pieces, some characters have less UR pieces and more SSR pieces. But upgrading SSR cosmetics to UR is crazy expensive. And if you're trying to do like SR to UR for certain characters, it's beyond ridiculous as well. But that's the only choice that people who aren't spending have in order to enhance their stats to kind of that crazy level. So if you are assuming you're upgrading 3 UR pieces and 2 SSR, the total amount of materials for every single slot, so you've got your defense, your weapons, and helmet stuff, is 270 in every single slot for a single character in order to fully upgrade their cosmetics. Also in terms of gold as well, because it's very, very expensive, the SR to UR is 1.2 million, and then fully upgrading a UR piece is 1.5 million. So on top of that, with a 270 of each material, it's almost 10 million gold, and then you got to times that by 3 for all sorts as well. It's about 30 million gold per character to sort out all of their cosmetics fully upgraded. So for a full team of 4 characters on the front line, you need 1,080 of every single material, and also 120 million gold on top of that. But also you get stats from associations in this game as well. So if you're looking to min-max and get to the maximum power ceiling and compete with the sweaty boys, you need 2,160 of every single material. And think about, just for a second, for a full single team and association, like how much Hell Demon grinding is that currently? Like, that is thousands and thousands of Hell Demons, man. It's ridiculous. And consider that you've got to what is it, triple that number as well, because that's only the cost of like every single item individually. You times that by 3 for every single slot. It's just mental, mate. It's absolutely mad. And then you've got the gold cost as well, which is 240 million gold, and that's just to like fully max out the cosmetics for 8 characters. And there are like 117 characters on global currently. Granted, like some of them do share gear sets with like a counterpart copy, so realistically I think there's probably about 50 to 70 different sets of gear overall in the game, and not everybody's gonna want to upgrade, you know, all of the characters, but just looking at like a frontline team and the cost of associations to reach that power ceiling is ridiculous. There is no way, I don't think like anybody could grind out a 14 plus associations via doing hell demons and also have like the will to live. You would just want to end your life after it, because even with the Valentine's units, man, it's still like, what is it, 6,000 and a bit materials you need. So, you know, considering you have some like average luck, I think that's probably about 2,000, 3,000 hell demons, like absolute bare minimum there. It's just beyond crazy, man. That's so ridiculous, and that's just for a single team, including associations. Like the amount of cosmetic upgrades that they chuck at us is just an absolute joke for what's required to actually hit the power ceilings in this game. And I am a firm believer that free-to-play players and grinders should have the ability, you know, on a couple of teams, on a few teams, to hit that power ceiling. And I think the thing with Wales is that they should have the ability to buy whatever they want and max out all the characters, all of the teams. But it's just ridiculous the amount of investment that's required to get all those cosmetic upgrades. And on top of that as well, it is like a little bit of a joke when you consider the wider cost and wider spectrum of upgrading everything, when via like a big Halloween event like this, we get like 10 of each material. It's not like enough to like fully upgrade even one piece of UR. Gets you like a third of it as well, man. It's just an absolute joke. They are, I hate cosmetic upgrades. They are my least favorite thing that they added. UR gear as well, like, it's definitely a bit cash grabby in certain elements, but you know, I can live with UR gear because, you know, it's very accessible via the training cave, and you can sort out some really good sets for gold tier characters and everything. But, I just hate cosmetic upgrades, man. They just leave a really bad taste in my mouth. But I can very much understand why people hate UR gear as well. But everything just needs to be so much more accessible, because these are the characters that we have right now, 7.5 months into the game. What's the game going to look like in a couple of years' time when we've got like 200 characters? Or like in 5 years' time when there's like 400 and a bit characters. It's just absolutely ridiculous. The system is so neglected, so broken, and I'm so like shocked that even on the Japanese version they have no updates to the rewards of PvP. There's been absolutely nothing as well. There needs to be higher levels of challenge and bracket, because players are getting clumped in at various brackets where you've got like megalodons fighting people that are trying to progress as well, because there really hasn't been a massive elevation of the power ceilings. And I think this is more evident when it comes to normal PvP, because yeah, once you get into the master and champion bracket, it gets a little bit ridiculous. And I remember grinding out normal PvP when I started playing this game. I think I got to the top of champion 1 with about like 80,000 to 90,000 combat class, and nowadays if I like put in some of my biggest away league teams, it's kind of like just above 130,000 CC, and this is what people got to contend with, man. And Lost Vein Meliodas is just crazy to fight up against as well. So yeah, there's just so much requirement for exactly the same rewards. I think there needs to be like an additional bracket when it comes to normal PvP and kind of increase the rating to about 5,000, just to kind of like separate people out, but also to buff the amount of gems that players can get via playing PvP. Because like the amount of gems that you need now in comparison to when Global launched is absolutely mad. There are so many additional banners coming out. Again, you've got to sort out, save up like, what is it, like 900 gems on a festival banner to get a guaranteed unit, because the drop rates are so exponentially low. Like Lost Vein Meliodas was a 0.28% chance on the banner, which is on average like a 1 in every 900 and a bit gems. So I know so many players that went into the Lost Vein Meliodas banner thinking, oh yeah, this is just like any other banner, like I'm just gonna get lucky, and then like 600 gems deep, they haven't got like anything of value, they've wasted all of these gems, and they have no way of getting the additional gems to get up to the 900 milestone to guarantee that they get Lost Vein Meliodas. But on top of that as well, even if you do save up for something like the Lost Vein Meliodas or Goddess Liz banner as a free-to-play player, you still need to sort out all of their cosmetic items as well, so that's additional gems. Like if you're looking at like getting a 3-piece UR set, it's like 30 for the weapon, 30 for the helmet, and 30 for the costume, so that's 90 gems. And again, these characters, they have, you need full cosmetics, man. And for most of them, you're buying like 2 or 3 of these additional sets, so it adds up like very quickly. It's like 270 on top of the Lost Vein Meliodas cost to get all of his stuff, and then you've got like Goddess Liz in the future, an additional like 900 gems on her banner, 270 to get all the stuff as well. So all of this stuff adds up like crazy, which is why as well in the PvP coin shop they need to make coins a lot more available, but also add in a way that you can do PvP and have the option, if you want to buy all sorts of cosmetics. They haven't updated any of the cosmetics. There are none for like the commandments or anything like that, and they also need to add a greater variety of cosmetics that you can get outside of weapons as well. There needs to be stuff that doesn't rely on like buying gems to get your cosmetics, and you can play PvP, you can farm out different cosmetics, and maybe they might be like, you know, capped at SSR level, but at least they'd fill that slot and give a power booster to free-to-play players that need to, you know, spend 900 gems on every festival banner, but then don't have the leftover gems to fully upgrade the cosmetics of all their characters. Like PvP is in such a state when it comes to the lack of update and attention that they've provided to the rewards. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And again, geared PvP rules, which are also coming to normal PvP in the future, they just shoehorn straight into the normal PvP version as well, also force this additional level of variance. And it's great if you're a massive blubbery whale and you can switch between teams and UR gear, but if you're a free-to-play player, you're focused in one particular setup, you know, you need to invest a lot to get characters viable for PvP. And if you're invested in that and the rules change to make your character's completely unviable, then you just got to skip out on PvP or just get absolutely bullied for an entire week. So it's just a terrible system. Fight Festival rules, at least in my opinion, should only apply to the top 100 system that they do, because that's kind of what they're intended for. It's the sweaty whales that have all of these characters built out and want a little a bit of variance and adjustment when it comes to elite PvP. So they really need to like strip apart the current progression system that they have. They need to have like lower rankings where you can't lose rating, where people have the option to climb up. And then when it comes to higher rankings, kind of like a mid-tier interim zone without PvP rules. And then they need the like top 100 zone where you've got like the Sweaty Boys PvP rules, PvP seasons, and also the rewards associated with that as well. But also one thing I want to rip the piss out of as well is PvP season rewards. So if you won the PvP season, and I won the first PvP season, I can tell you how much of a nightmare it is, how much like time you got to put into grinding, and how much you got to constantly adapt to your team, because in top 100 PvP, like metas emerge, but then they're countered very quickly by new teams and new ideas. There's so much effort you need to put into winning an entire PvP season. And if you win a PvP season at the moment, you get 100 gems, which is the financial equivalent to about $50 there. And also you get the Trophy Hellbrim. And the Trophy Hellbrim was a big pull-in for the first PvP season, but also the PvP seasons themselves. Like, only the top 100 players are actually rewarded. PvP season should be an exciting time for everybody. Everybody should get rewarded. There should be like bonus rewards, like bonus anvils, hammers, engraving stones, cosmetic upgrades, something to drive all of the players into PvP and make people care about getting a good score, or like at least trying their best to win a few matches here and there. Like, PvP seasons are just the bare bones thing that they've added in to slightly appease some players for a while, and it worked. Like, we enjoyed the first PvP season because it was exciting to like see who could be the first player to get like 6/6 blue Hellbrim. But the second season, man, everybody that played season 1 just didn't participate in season 2 because there was no reason to. If you trophy Hellbrim, do you know what the reward for winning was? 100 gems. Like, they posted today on the forums that the reward for winning the the fan art competition is 1,000 gems, man. So if you can draw a really nice picture of Shin, you get 1,000 gems. But if you won an entire PvP season, that's 300 matches. You need to use wine food for every single match. That's 15,000 festival coins on top of that, and 300 matches. To get number 1 and get 100 gems, you need to win, you know, at least like 260, 270 of those very, very sweaty matches. But you can get 10 times the rewards for being the #1 PvP player in the game if you draw a very nice picture of Shin. And I love that they're doing stuff like this, man. I love an art competition. I think it's really good that they're encouraging the creative side of the community to come out. But at the same time, it's like, reward the people that are actually fucking playing your game, you mugs. Like, that's how you get players involved. That's how you keep them progressing. You keep them spending, you keep them interested. It seems like you're just fucking up on PvP. You've paid no attention to updating everything. You're neglecting new players, you're neglecting progressing players. The endgame players don't give two shits about PvP anymore. Sort it out. It's a fun time, but the reward structure and motivation structure is absolute ass cheeks. So I'm not impressed, Netmarble. Take a finger out. You're making bank on 7 Deadly Scenes. I've seen how much money you're making. You can delegate 1 or 2 people to looking after PvP, because it is one of the biggest elements of the game. So please sort out, lads. And if you did enjoy today's rant video, lads, please do smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. I understand we have got a bit passionate today, but it just upsets me to see them like just not updating PvP. Like, JP has not updated PvP in a year. Everything that they've done has just kind of made it worse for like new players and people that aren't spending like $5,000 a month on this game. So yeah, they just need to sort it out. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.